Hi, this is Marguerite Tony from Tribes Press, and I'm here to talk to poet Lyn Maloney about her book, A Fairy Wonderland of Rhymes, which is available on the Tribes Press website. So, Lyn, you're very welcome.
Hi, Marguerite. How are you?
And so, Lyn, I want to know what it is like to be a poet, because I've always been in fascination of poets. What is it like to be a poet?
I can't imagine how you'd be fascinated by poets. You're such a good writer yourself, Marguerite. But I do remember the very first time I went down and to meet with you in Galway, and that was the first thing that you said to me, that you loved poetry, and you were really impressed with the poems that I had brought down to show you that day. I couldn't believe it. It was the first time that somebody had actually said, you know, you can write poetry, you're well able to write poetry. And definitely, I suppose, your support and your encouragement from that very first day, it has helped me, and I write every day. I write poetry every day.
Fantastic. You've created a fantastic book. I remember when I was a child, I read a book. It was my childhood book. It was A Child's Garden of Verses. And it came to me from my cousin who had come back from London. Their family had come back from London, Kay Keaveney, if you're listening. Their family came back from London, and they had some things that they left with us, you know, imparted on their other cousins. And it was one of those books that I was just mesmerized by as a child. And when I saw your poetry coming in, and I thought, no, this is just incredible. This is like A Child's Garden of Verses all over again. So I have to say, I absolutely love the poetry that's inside this book. So I want you to read any poem you want to us.
Well, I had one picked out. I thought you might ask that. I had one picked out, and I have a little background story about this one. And it's actually in the section on baby fairies. I haven't got my wings yet.
Oh, I love this one.
When I brought out my book last year, I have to say that so many people at Bord na Móna, where I work, supported and bought the book. But one person in particular came back and told me that they actually read this poem at their baby grandson's naming ceremony, and I just, you know, it was so appropriate for a baby, for a naming ceremony of a baby.
I absolutely love this book.
And
yeah,
I was just filled with such joy. I was delighted that he read it there. So we'll have a look at I Haven't Got My Wings Yet. I haven't got my wings yet, for I am just too small. My life is just beginning, there will be many falls. But I'll pick up and dust me down, move onwards with a smile. I haven't got my wings yet, it will take me quite a while.
And that is a beautiful.
And I just also think that it's appropriate for the times that's in it. I think we're all maybe feeling that our wings are a bit clipped at the moment. Yeah. It's not just appropriate for babies and small children. I think it's a time now where we have to stay positive. And
I just found the illustration for that one. I haven't got
that's it.
Yet. And there's beautiful illustrations in this. I absolutely love the illustrations in this book. They're incredible. By Sally Ann Kelly. So she did.
Sally Ann. She did such a brilliant job. A brilliant job.
And there was a particular poem that I love, The Fairy Hospice, that you were a little bit reluctant to put in, but I said, no, this is big. This is big. This is for any child who's going through a lot.
Oh my goodness, Marguerite, I did not want to put this in the book. I thought, oh, maybe it's a bit strong. Maybe it would just stir up, you know, bad memories. And you were saying absolutely not. I mean, people should talking, you know, you should talk out your problems, especially, you know, in the times that's in it now. I suppose that's very true as well. Talk to people, because everybody is finding it hard and tough. But the fairy hospice, we had a little bit of a row over that one. I remember that day in Galway.
I just think that there's so many people who so many children who grieve, and they need a voice. They need to have someone to voice their grief. They need to have somewhere to go. And this book is a place to go, that they can find solace. They can find somebody who understands. And it's not mommy, it's not daddy, it's not my brother, it's not my sister. It's just they are taken to a different place with somebody who understands, somebody who's magical. And that's what a poet gives to a child. They give them a safe place so that they can be with themselves and they can be with their feelings. Would you read it to us?
Okay, we'll have a look at it here. So, The Fairy Hospice. Somewhere along the peaty pool, cradled in our bogs, a symphony of bog sprites are flitting all about, tending, minding, treating little fairy friends, loving them, preparing them, injured at their end. Their end of life not natural, for they never die, you see, through sickness or through poison or through some form of injury. No more of use their magical bombs, of which they tried, you know. Last resting place, a funeral pyre, to the blue sea, off they go.
And I think it's important. I think it's important for children. Children understand life and death more than we think. And I think it's important for them to have a place where they can cry. And this
They
book,
absolutely do. They do. And I think we don't give children enough credit.
Yeah.
And it's actually the adults who hide their emotions and who don't want to talk. And sometimes when a child wants to talk about something that's troubling them, maybe it's the adult that's actually not able to face up to the conversation. So yeah, look at maybe.
I have to say that is my favorite. It still is my favorite. I want to know what inspired you to become a poet. What inspired you to write poetry?
I've always been writing poetry. But only on little bits of paper here and there, and never really kept my poems together or in any one place where I could read them back again. And I suppose I've lost a lot of poetry because I didn't write them down in a book. But I remember my sister, who sadly passed away in 2018, she gave me a hardback copy one Christmas with a fairy on the front of it. And I just started to write a few little poems into that copy. And each night in the bed, propped up in the pillows, nice and comfy, I'd scribble down some little poems. And before I knew where I was, I had nearly 100 poems written in that book alone. So I started to root around in the house and I pulled out the poems from the different presses and the top of the wardrobe and drawers in different rooms. And I got another hardback copybook and I wrote them all into it. I just felt by seeing them in a book, I had my little collection. And so ever since, I have been kind of transferring my poetry that I would normally put on a memo on the phone, take a memo, and even just if I get an idea during the day, just jot down, a couple of lines on the phone and then rewrite them into the copybook in the evening. But obviously I have a good few copybooks floating around in the city.
There are many more additions to Fairy Wonderland of Rhymes to come.
Oh, hopefully, yeah. Marguerite.
Well, I love this book. I absolutely love this book. It is a classic. I would always say that it is a classic. It's a book that will last forever, and it's so beautifully illustrated. It's so beautifully written. Like, it's just, there's everything in this book. There's everything in it, and I love it. And I have my own copy, and I don't want to give it to anybody else.
Thanks, Marguerite.
Lyn, it's been great talking to you. And
the same as that, yeah.
And what we're going to do now is tell everybody where to get it. So everybody, if you want to get this book, get it in tribespress.com/shop. So Tribes Press, contact Tribes Press, get your book there. And if you have any difficulty, our telephone number is on our website, and you can call us if you have any difficulty, if you're not proficient in online shopping, because not everybody is. Give us a call. And we will talk to you. You can order over the phone as well. So thank you, Lyn. Thank you very much for this.
Thanks, Marguerite.
And we will thank everybody else as well. And all those people who want to buy the book, get online. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.